Oh, that's great. So I was talking away here, talking to myself. Only 17 minutes. I guess I should have looked a little sooner. It didn't come up that the message was in chat there, Lana. Sorry. Let me see. There we go. Can you hear me now? If you can, just put a thumbs up or something in the chat. If you can't hear me, well, then you can't put a thumbs up. See, that's my audio. Testing, testing. Okay, that should be at it. Okay, I'm assuming you can hear me now. It looks like everything's going through from what I can tell. I can always do this to test myself. So hopefully I'm not. Yeah, okay, perfect. So yeah, my volume is back. So sorry about that, everybody. What I was going off on the beginning was about questions that I sort of posed in today's title of this video. What would you like to ask your ancestors? And the thing I really want to ask them is why they chose to move to Canada. Especially my Scottish ancestors, they could have chosen all kinds of places. Thanks, Nick. Yeah, they could have chosen all kinds of places where the Scots were, Jamaica, the Carolinas, Virginia, but they chose Canada. It's kind of there's questions like that. I'm sure we all want to ask our ancestors what things motivated them to do something, whether it's to relocate, whether it was to just all kinds of different questions we might want to ask. So it's those are things that we can actually possibly find out doing family research. Well, we might not be able to ask them because they're long gone. We might be able to have some understanding of what the motivations might be for them to, and through the records we find, through understanding the history of the communities they're from or they came to, and what the motivation was. In the case of my Scottish ancestors on my mom's side, the motivation was, well, basically they were kicked out of Scotland, and that's where they were sent, and so they didn't have too much of a choice. I also mentioned that I want to talk a little bit about a couple of my recent videos. There's a video I did last week. It was on Canada and U.S. relations. I talked that there's a lot of Canadians I know myself. We have the howdy, Lena. So yeah, we have those cousins that could go back and forth. My grandfather, 3 of his 6 sisters had moved to Boston sometime post World War II. So I have lots of cousins down there. But on my father's side, I actually have it'd be my father's great grandfather, my second great grandfather. He, after his first wife passed away, he wound up going down to the Boston area, and that's where he passed away. Don't really have a motivation of what sent him, and I didn't mention this in my video because I'd sort of forgotten about it, that his sister would be my second great grandaunt. She had moved to Boston at one point, and in the same area that he wound up passing away. So I'm assuming that might be the possible connection that drew him there, whether there was work that was available for him. So yeah, the emojis are a little different on YouTube. You don't have as much selection, unfortunately. And I'm still managing the chat here and stuff. Even though there's not a lot of you in there today, it's still to do everything I'd like. I don't always do, and I miss things like realizing somebody told me you couldn't hear me. There's gotta, yeah. Anyways, so yeah, today I'm actually going to do a little bit investigating on that side. I want to actually dig in a little more on those. So I was going to show how to do some of that search and what that might look like while I try to dig for that information. And I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to answer any of your questions. I don't know if anybody has any specific questions. You can ask them in the chat. If there's something that needs a little more detail that you might have a link to a family tree or whatever, there's a link in the description, but actually I've set it up so you can just go to the website, no www in front of this, just ask.howwegothere.ca, and that will link to the same form that's in the website in the description, and you can go and you can ask your question from there. And you can use those. That should be anytime. And if I don't answer it on today's live stream, I might be done on a future one or actually a future video. As I sort of dig in and look into things, I'm still working on doing some. I've been doing a little more just broad histories of different ethnic people groups, and that's I'm laying some of the groundwork for some research and some videos that will be coming out about specific people in from those people groups. But I want to also give that as a resource for as a quick resource for people who have family from those specific groups. I've been sort of following the from the Covenanters, I went to the Scots-Irish, who were basically derivative of that, and then to the Scots-Irish and the Scots plantation. And then this week I just released yesterday a video on the Scots-Irish in America. I'll be doing a Scots-Irish in Canada. Should be next week. The week after, I'm planning on, and then I've been researching this. There's not as much of the Scots-Irish in actually Australia. There's not as strong a connection, but there is a very strong connection to the Scots-Irish in New Zealand. So I'll be doing a video on New Zealand and Australia together, with the primary focus will probably be on New Zealand. I'm hoping to get in contact with a person I know that does some research down in the Australia area to see what information they might be able to help me find as well. So. Okay, so yeah, and it's you guys, just everybody that's here, just like I said, drop a question at any point. I'll try to pay attention and see if I notice it come up. I really need to have a sound or something to pop up when you say something to me, but that would be probably annoying because it'll be popping at different times, and I'm sure you'd hear too. Unless, of course, I don't have my own audio on, then that wouldn't work. Anyways, so yeah, the video I did this week, like I said, is on the Scots-Irish in America. They really had a big influence. I've been, when you look at the influence they had on American history, the people that they're involved, I'm thinking socially, politically, economically, but really musically too. I get kind of focused at the end a little bit on that. I know a lot of the type of music I like. I'm very much into traditional Scottish and Irish music, but I also like a lot of the folk music that derived from the Appalachians, and again, a lot of the bluegrass and gospel music and pop music that came out of that same, and rock music that came out of that same, the same connection. It's no wonder. Okay. Okay, so yeah, let's look. I'm gonna go to my. I'm gonna set something up here on my computers, and I just had it here on a different tab, so just seeing if this will work when I share. And I'm going to do the entire screen. I'm going to do that screen there. No, that screen. So now that should be sharing my screen, and I'll put this up. Why is that still? I want to remove that. I want to. Okay, there. There we go. Okay. So this here is on my father's side of my family. So this is the Patrick Nash, who I talked a little bit about in the video. His Joanne Nash. She was Joanne White originally, and there we go. So there we go. And then his father was John, and his mother was Margaret. Now this is interesting. Margaret, I find her either listed as Margaret Welch, like this, Welsh with an SH, and I've seen Walsh. So we're going to look at specifically, I'm going to go to John and Margaret's daughter, Bridget. And so I have Bridget up here too. This is the MyHeritage Family Tree Builder. If you want a good non-web-based platform to build your family tree, this is a really nice one. It connects automatically with your tree on MyHeritage if you have one, and you can set one up when you use this. It's free. You can use it offline, but it's nice that it connects and it helps you with the resources. I just like it because it's sometimes it's a lot easier just to put in things in boxes as opposed to spots on the web page. I don't know if any of you used this program before. If you have, great. If you're not, this might be the first time you're looking at it. It's worth taking a look at. Reminds me of the old family tree maker. I think a lot of it was built on their sort of backbone, how they did it. So tell me that there's 2 records for Bridget that they have updates on. I can click there, and that should bring me up the web page. My internet's being really slow. So this is what it has. It has, there we go. So we have her record matches from the family search tree, and one an actual record here. This is her baptismal record. So her record is from 1839. So I'm going to show you this. This is actually an interesting one as well. Just because for the longest time, I could not find a record of John, her father, my third great grandfather, in Nova Scotia before 1840. But this really kind of confirms that he was there. So this is from January 9th, 1839. And you can just really enjoy the beautiful penmanship of whoever wrote this. So we have Bridget Nash. Now, I'm assuming it's Bridget. It looks like Bridget. Family Search has it marked down as Bridget. So it's giving me some information here. She's the daughter of John Nash and Margaret. Now, see, this is one where it has hers Welsh. Welsh. And yeah, I'm really not sure. This here would be just the signatures of the witnesses, I believe, and that the minister who baptized her. And this is from St. Mary's Basilica, which is the largest Catholic church in Halifax. Let me see if I can. And by the way, thank you all for staying to keep while I was silent. I do appreciate it. So this is what St. Mary's Basilica looks like today. Let me see if it gives me a history here. This is not the church that my family would have regularly attended thereafter. They attended a church in the north end of Halifax, the St. Patrick's, and I want to call it I can't remember if it's a cathedral or if or just a church. It was built after this. So here we go. St. Patrick's Roman Catholic Church. This is from the National Trust. Let me see here. Yeah, it was built between 1883 and 1885. So this is St. Patrick's Church. This is in the north end of Halifax. And apparently it's at risk. And it's an old building. It was a very central part of the Irish community in Halifax. It was something that they got their own church, so to speak, as you can tell by the name. Anyways, this is her record. This is one record of hers, but then we also have a record of her death, which is her burial. Let me see here, the source. So I'm going to bring this over here. So this is from Find a Grave. That's one place, but there's her tombstone. So Mother Bridget, Father James F, and his last name was Landers. I'm trying to see if I have it here. Nope. Okay. One second here. I think I did that wrong. And they were in Halifax County. And if you're saying anything to me, my chat's off there. Oh, thank you. That must have been in about my talking about waiting. I appreciate it. So yeah, if I'm going to look for a record of hers. So I was thought it might be on here. I thought there was a record of her marriage, but no, I found that elsewhere. So Bridget Shirley Nash, this would be actually my grandaunt. She just went by Shirley. But I'm looking for that one record there. Let's see if I can find it elsewhere. Because I remember seeing it, yeah, specifically because her husband's, it's listed in Latin, yeah, they were married 13th of August, 1861. So let's try this here. We're just going to look up there, and we're just going to look at marriages, and we're going to look at 1860 to 1862. Let's see if I can find it in there. Emma Brander. Nope, that's not it. Just 1 second here. We're going to look at the Landers. I do like the thing with this Nova Scotia one. You can just search. If you have part of it, it will. You don't have to put any wildcards or anything. So just 1 second here. There we go. This is her husband, it's Jacob Landers. So this is what it says about him. He was born in Halifax in 1837, and it has his parents' name, and I just looking here as well. Just looking here. Sources there. Just looking for the sources. There's 88 sources they have listed on Family Search with him. So let's see if I can find his marriage in here. I'm pretty sure I had it. Okay, yeah, here we go. This is a record of his their daughter's death, Ellen. So if I look here, And it's a little slow, of course. Okay. So it mentions her mother, Bridget Landers, and so this is on the 3rd of April, 1867. I wonder if I can find that actually death record in the Nova Scotia links. Let's see here. So there we go, Ellen Landers. So this is the same record that we just looked at, but this is from the Nova Scotia site. So we're actually going to look at a few other things here. I'm looking to see if I can find his record from. There we go. This would be the marriage record. Now, this is one of these things often people don't go and you do a lot of research on the lateral lines. So you often miss things. You often miss things when you don't go on the lateral lines, and when you start doing those lateral lines, you get to find new information. Okay, so it's working there. It's letting me switch cameras. What is it? Not there. Just give me one quick second. I'm going to be right back. It's going to drop for a quick minute, but it should be good. Okay, so I'm back. Let's just see here. What I was coming up with next was this here. I remember looking at this years ago, and it is because it is extremely awkward. This is the okay. This is the baptism. Let's see. This is her baptism. No, this is not her baptism record. This is the marriage record. I believe June 17th, 1862. You can see them here. And you're going to see his name is listed as, sorry, this is a baptismal record of a child. And you're going to notice it's in Latin. Now, they do have, her name is Vash, it's Nash. That's a way many people made their ends there. I don't know who thought that was a V. And it lists him as Jacob with an E at the end. But this would be one of their children. This is for Williamus Edvardus, so it's this would be Edward. I don't know what Williamus is, what the actual origin of that is, or why. Again, they're both Irish, so it sounds like a Latin, an Italian name. It's basically apparently the same as William. So William Edward, pretty common name. So he's one of their sons. He was born in 1862. What I'm trying to do is find out their children and when they went to excuse me, when they went to Massachusetts. So let's see here. I found some here. I found some records in Massachusetts as early as 1870. So I found the church record still in Halifax from there. We go. 1870, the census in the United States. Let's see. So there we got Bridget, there we got William, James. Okay. And let's see what it says about him. So we're going to look at the landers. So this is the 1870 U.S. Census. So there's the landers, and it lists them all as being born in Nova Scotia. So the last child they have, the youngest, is 1. She was born in Nova Scotia. This is Ellen. Remember, we looked at an Ellen that was a deaf record in Nova Scotia. So let's. My nose is so itchy today. I've been sick most of this week. We're going to look at Halifax. That's where they were. I don't think they were outside of there. So we do have Ellen Landers, 1867. So they must have had a or maybe this is just the birth record. No. So there she is. Because her age is, she was 3/4 of a year. So it just says that she was an infant and she was born, she died on the 3rd of April. Does it give her? Yeah, it doesn't give a date of birth. So they must have had another Ellen that was born afterwards, which is very common. If you had a child that died in infancy, often they'd have the same name after. Oh, you can't see the document. Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, I had to restart and it stopped showing things. So let's just thank you. I'm glad you knew what it meant, Nick. That's so yeah, this is this here is should be showing now. Let me see. So it says she was 3/4 a year. And again, what we looked at here was in Suffolk County. This is the year, the census record from the United States. And it gives it, they were all born in Nova Scotia and their ages. So I'm going to look for a few more records they have on them. I'm trying to find, so all these children were at that point in the United States. I believe I did not see any records of them coming back that I've come across, but I haven't really dug a lot into this family, side of the family, as I spent a lot of time trying to pursue her father and mother, John Nash and Margaret Walsh. Well, not her. Yeah, it would be her mother. I really spent a lot of time trying to figure out exactly who they are and where they came from. Their records in Ireland were hard to find, and I'm still not positive, though I have it narrowed down quite good. So yeah, so we have James and Bridget, William, James, John, and Ellen. So they were all living there at some point. So let's go to, I'm going to go to my family search and I'm going to look for some records on the children. Okay. So if I look at her here, this is what I have on her on Wikitree. Like I said, I didn't do a lot. I do have her husband in there. Do I even have a record? I believe I do. Yes. I didn't add any of their children. I didn't really do a lot of research into it yet. So let's just look at her sources. So I had that she died on April 8th, 1897. There we go. Not a lot of information it gives on there on her death record. I'll bring it over here so you're seeing what I'm seeing. So just list the information we already know, but I'm really trying to dig into some of the records that came after. So if I go to her sources, and I'm looking for events that happened after. Okay. So why I say events that happened after, that's often because they're listed in a death record of a child. because there wouldn't be a reason why she'd be listed in a vital statistic record after her death. So we have in 1903. So let's see what we have here. Okay. So this is John T. Landers. He married Ellen Garrity. Okay. So John T. Landers. Now I'm looking for children of theirs. So John Thomas Landers. Yeah, I'm born in Halifax in 1866. That's the right guy. Okay. So let's view the about on him. And like I said, this is where my grandfather in 1939 stayed with somebody in New York while he was getting looked at a melanoma looked at, and my father mentioned that sometime would be in the late 50s, early 60s, when he was in the Navy. He visited if I remember, he called her an aunt. So she could be a grand aunt, a great grand aunt. In Brooklyn, could just be a cousin. So I'm just trying to figure out what side of the family that might have came from. So we have him. We're going to look for his children. So his so we have John Thomas, spouse and children. So they have John Francis and Gloria Ruth Landers. Gloria Ruth died in 2003. John Francis, so he would be the same age as my grandfather, roughly. Maybe 2 years older. But that would be the generation. Is this the right John Thomas? Yeah. So there's all the siblings. Yeah, so it's kind of interesting. William Edward. So this could be the one possibility, or it could be her brother, my second great grandfather, with his second wife. They moved to Massachusetts sometime after they got married. So let's just, if I actually bring up this here, this is what I really like about this particular program. If I use here, his first wife died after 1875, because I do have a record of, it's my grandfather, I think, that was born, my great grandfather Frederick. He was born in he was born in 1875. So she was still alive. She didn't die in childbirth. So if I look at, so yeah, we look at Joanne White, and yeah, 1875. I think I actually do have somewhere, possibly on WikiTree, her actual death. I did note. WikiTree's changed their website. A lot of people don't like it. I haven't really passed judgment on it yet. So this is Patrick. This is, again, my second great grandfather, and he married his new wife, who was Susan Dempsey was his second wife, and they did have children. So, and it could be one of those group of children as well that I'm looking for my father's descendant from. So we've been here. I've been not quite in an hour yet. I don't know if this is boring you guys. If you're interested, it seems some people are interested because there are people coming in. Love to see you chat in the chat. If there's something, any questions specifically you want to ask. Now you'll see I'm using family search. I do not use family search trees. I don't rely on anybody's trees, but it is a great place to find the records. So I just wouldn't copy and say, oh, I'm going to take everything's off here. I would look and say, okay, I have the records of their children. In fact, I can probably start looking some of them up here. If I went to, again, John Thomas Landers, born 1866. If he's in the Nova Scotia records, he might not be. Let's look at Landers again. We're looking at Halifax. So it's not finding him. So we have Jacob Flanders, which is interesting. I'm looking for Landers, not Flanders. Why? That is interesting that I can't find it. Am I spelling it right? Landers. Yep. Let's search all counties. Okay. So he was supposed to be born in 1866. Yeah, I didn't know if I'd, and if they did leave in 1870, that would very much make sense why I can't find any other records on them. Let's check the other children that we saw in that list. Let's see if we can find them. So we have William, James, John, Ellen. We found a previous Ellen. Let's look for James. The thing with the Nova Scotia records, they're not, it wasn't a requirement. So yeah, births 1864 to 1877, delayed registrations. Yeah, it wasn't until the 1900s that you really started getting these records were registered and kept on the provinces as opposed to just being local and then sometimes lost. So you don't find sometimes a lot of records before the 1900s, and even up to the 1923 is the latest you can search for births, but even some of those, like I know I find a lot of they were delayed registrations. The birth, basically, they had no birth certificate, no birth record, so they're attesting. They have to prove that they had lived or were born, and when they're saying, I think my grandmother is one of those. If I look up her, I'll show you what it looks like. So yeah, if you never came back, you wouldn't necessarily need to. So I'm looking for Florence Charlotte in 1923. There we go. Charlotte Florence. So this is her delayed registration of birth. So this is basically stating who she was, her father's information, and she is testifying that she is. And in this case, this was her mother, was her witness. My knowledge of the fact and date of her birth is based on the following circumstances. I am her mother. She was present. She's making this declaration. This was done in 1978. So this was just before my great-grandmother actually passed away. And this would have been when my grandparents, up until that point, had always rented, and they purchased their first house in 78. So I'm assuming it had something to do with that, of them having to verify their records. So when they do this, there's several records. This was a form that she was sent in. And I'm jumping all over the place to show you different things. Sorry. So this is from the town. This is one of her pieces of proof. Another one is to testify that who she is and where she lived at the time. And she was during the school term of 1928 to 1929, and she was in grade 1. And according to the school register for that year, she was 6 years, 8 months, and 8 days as of the 30th of June, 1929. So this is basically the town of Glace Bay saying that in their school records, they show, yes, they have a record of her. It's all these other interesting things are all really neat. So this here is actually, so this is the Deputy Registrar General of Canada, and giving her address. It says on this date, she was 17 years of age on this. It should probably read 1922 because that was wrong, which he noted in there. And he's saying this is the National Registration of Canada records. So they made people register before the war, even the women. So that's so she's basically having to prove that she was born that age. Often people would have done that had to do that later because they were either getting a passport for the first time, or they were getting a pension. So here is a few pieces of information. This is from the census. It says on June 1st, 1931, which is the census day, she's listed as 8 years of age and born in the province. So they had her registered then, and they also had her registered in 1941. So it's quite a neat thing that they had to go back and kind of prove things. So that's what they do. So that's what you'd see, like I said, when you look at the Nova Scotia records. You'll find a lot that are missing, and then you'll see ones like this that didn't have they weren't as much a natural regulated thing at the time. This is the nice thing about the site. It tells you everything that's there, what kind of records you should expect to find. And they have a nice thing that's kind of neat. If you want to help, you can help transcribe. So if you can transcribe births from 1923, 1922, they're just looking for people. Let's try this. Oh, look at that. I'm giving my credit card information. That's no good. What doesn't say then? Just 1 second here. Okay. Not that I had my actual credit card information, but so when you're transcribing, I can search all records, or I can search ones that, so I'm going to search Anderson. And I'm looking for my grandfather's because I've never seen his actual birth certificate because it wasn't listed until recently. He should be there. Let's see if I can do first name. There we go. Let's see if this is him. Yep, that's him. Dominion number 6. It says there it's actually Donkin because it's Dominion number. I guess it was technically. I'm going to put. I don't know if to like this, but it was just referred to as that. So date of birth, 5/24, May 24th. That's him. He is single and he was born alive. Yes. So it has all the information here. So male, twin, he is live and he is legitimate. Yay. Not that I doubt it. So you see his relative, brothers and sisters, you would tell that they're all the same. I do really like this racial origin, Scotch. And all my Scottish friends tell me they never call themselves Scotch, they call themselves Scot, but in North America and particularly in Cape Breton, they call them Scotch. There he is. His father was a miner, and it should give me some. Now, his mother's name, interesting, is listed as Lizzie Baxter. So let's go with the father. We have the father. Yeah. So he was 37. It's really, he was born in Port Morion, and I didn't know that. And he was a miner. And his father was a twin. Where was he employed? Well, the only place they had was the Dominion Mine Company. They owned all the mines in Donkin, so he was born there. Well, let's go to the. Okay, so let's go to the mother's record. So we have Lizzie. Now, I find that she was called Lizzie. Her name's Elizabeth. Now, I'm interested to see what they put as her age of birth. So 31. So by the time she was there we go. Switching cameras on me. The time she was there, she did fess up to what her actual age is. So they're there. And now the last one is the informant. Oh, my mother did it. I didn't finish her there. Sorry. And her, it's just listed here, Scotland. And as a transcriber, this is what I hate. You're just transcribing what actually is here. But specifically, she was born in Midlothian. And so number of children to this mother. So at this point, my grandfather was number 7 of 12. And they're all living, which is kind of neat back then. Occupation for other than household duties. She didn't work outside the home. And so he was born at home, it looks like. Oops, it's here. I don't know. 21. So we have Arthur, the husband. And I'm looking for where I put number 22. Dominion number 6 is still listing there. And there was no doctor. Mrs. Robert Baxter would be my grandmother's mother. My great-grandmother's mother, sorry. So my grandfather, his grandmother. And it was the 26th of May. Yeah. And that's it. So that's done. It's completed. So it took me way off base there. We went from looking at records in Boston and up to actually transcribing some stuff in there we go. Transcribing some stuff in Nova Scotia. So there we go. I'm back. Just getting used to this camera. So that camera's gone to black. And let's go to number 1. Okay. So I don't know if there's any questions anybody has for me about anything about your own family tree. let's see here. I'm going to check my form to see if I had any new questions entered there. No, I didn't. If you have any questions, anything, something you'd like me to cover in a video in the future, let me know. If you have a specific question about your family tree or situation that you're looking at, let me know too. You can use that form, ask.howwegothere.ca. We'll bring you to the form, or you can ask it just right here in the chat. If it's a quick question, use the form. If it's something more like you're going to want to list a specific family tree that I need to look at or whatever. Okay, so I guess we're getting close to the end of the day, or at least for the stream. I want to thank everybody for joining today. I appreciate it. And just gonna stop sharing that screen. So if anybody has any questions, I'm going to call last call, which is the time for you to speak now or forever hold your peace.
Let's call!
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time I need to announce it's last call at the bar.
Oh.
Okay, so if there's any questions anybody has, drop them in the chat now. Okay, well, until next week, I should be the same time, same bat time, same bat channel, as they used to say. You have a great day, and keep searching for your ancestors. Don't give up.